Hello again, YouTube. This is Truth Blaster, blasting you with more truth. Those of you who are not narcissists, those of you who take what you learn and you utilize it to become even better at the things you do. Now today we're talking about young adults, 20 to 29. You might as well throw them in there with maybe not all. Like my son is 20, he's pretty respectable towards his elders, because that's how we taught him. But you might as well throw a lot of them in there with the disrespect thing, right, with the other youth, the 10 to 19 group. Because a lot of them are disrespectful. You know, they come on a job that they ain't never did before, and they just want to change everything. And so this video on TED is talking about how narcissists are changing the world. That is not, it's not positive. It's not a positive change. Because there's things that were established in this world that were working. And they want to come along and change everything. The only thing that should be changed is the stuff that don't work. If you can make it better, then change. And I'm not one of them older people who just don't want anything to change. I want the things to change that can be made better. Not, oh, you arrogant, you don't want to do it this way, so you want it to change. No, that's not a good enough reason. If it works, then don't change it. If it doesn't work, you have a better way, then change it. But see, what we're dealing with now is the anti-social media. Anti-social media. Everybody done whipped their phones out. Nobody knows how to be a true friend. The disrespect generation, all in the music. I'll take your bitch, I'll take your girl. All in the music. And people living like this. You got some dudes that wait till a dude break up with his girl, try to get with his girl, and you his friend? You're his enemy. You trying to compete with him. You trying to make yourself like you better than him. But that's how it is now. Thirsty dogs going up behind each other. And for you millennials that think you all that, let's just look at the STD rates. Look at the STD rates from my generation and look at them from yours. And you know why? Because you don't have any morals. You're the I want everything soft and sweet generation. You even want God sweet. You don't want to hear about no God that's going to judge your sins. You want to hear about this God that let everybody go into heaven, regardless of what you say and do. And I told y'all some stuff I'm not going to talk about on YouTube no more. You have to be invited to BitChute, to my BitChute, to hear me talk in details on sex and politics and religion. I'm going to keep it basic on YouTube. So, you want to hear that good stuff from me, you're not going to hear it on here. But I'm going to give you bits and pieces. And like I said, you might as well throw it. You might as well throw the millennials right in with the teenagers, especially here in Milwaukee. If somebody, let me give you an analogy. If somebody has been on the job 8, 9, 10 years, you ain't even been on it for 2 years. You ain't even been on it for 3 years. You ain't even been on it for 1 year. Don't you think you should be learning from that person? Let me give you another. That's like Sonny Michel, the running back for the Patriots, going to Robert Kraft and telling Robert Kraft, I think it's a better way than how Tom Brady plays quarterback. I think Tom Brady is a little too old-fashioned. He need to do this, do that. Well, Tom Brady has 6 Super Bowls. You're just an arrogant little kid. And that's what's messing stuff up. Think about it. How often do you hear about dudes over the age of 40 killing people? I bet you it don't happen 20 times in a year, 30. And the only time it do is the ones that's dealing with mental illness that don't want to leave that hood life alone. It don't happen too often. These is kids doing this stuff. Home invasions, robbing barbershops, doing this, doing that. Why? Because contrary to what they believe about themselves, it's been scientifically proven that the brain does not complete its development in most people until the age of 25, 26. So if I see you as a 26-year-old, 27-year-old, and you just like a 19-year-old, I already know not to even deal with you like that. You're no good for me. You're a troublemaker because you're not as far along as you think you are. Because you know how to use a computer? Computer is only one aspect of life. One. And I guarantee you, all the guns that's on the street, a lot of them is millennials who had good records that was reckless, leaving their guns in cars, and people stealing their guns. If you can't keep your gun on you, then you might as well not even have it, because you might not even make it to your gun. So why bring it for these kids who hover around outside these bars and nightclubs, knowing these people are going to be stupid enough to leave their guns in their cars and they're going to take them? Millennials don't get a chance, a lot of them don't get themselves a chance to develop into something special. They want to put themselves on the level of people who've been around longer than them, who old enough to be their father, who would be a good father to them if they was their father. Because of narcissism. You're a narcissist. You think you know more than people. You think you smarter than this person. You're a kid. You don't, from my experience, most people ain't gonna show no strong progress until they hit 35. You'll show bits, but you still gonna waste a lot of money. You still gonna do dumb stuff. It's when you hit 35, 36, most people, if you ain't dealing with mental illness, you're gonna start to show some maturity, some go-get. Hey, here's what's funny on my job, right? And I don't care if they do listen, what they gonna do to me? Nothing. To run their mouth. They chose to hire a lot of younger staff, right? Well, guess what happens? And this was just driving me nuts. So you hire all these young staff, and people get mandatory overtime, and we call them red M's. Because now they just want to take their base check and kick it and party. They don't want to work no overtime. So now you taking the older workers, you taking the more mature batch of the millennials, and you're forcing them to work on their days off when they can be with their husband, their wife, their significant other that's gonna be their wife, now they have to work because you creating a party atmosphere, hiring a bunch of kids who don't even know how to deal with kids. And don't get me wrong, we got some good ones. We do. We got some good ones. But we got some bad ones too. And so what happens? You have a guy like me who I have other stuff going. Like I have other businesses going. And then now I had to come to work on the day that I'm supposed to be off because you keep hiring people who don't even want to work, who have no need for overtime. Because see, this is the generation that lives off women. You living off women. You got women paying bills. In my eyes, that's simp. And I don't care. Some people, I'm cool with them and they do it. I had a friend down in Texas. Like, only thing I would say to him is just make sure your wife ain't wasting money. Make sure she's banking a lot of her. He said, me and him was talking. He said, NIGGAs is PUSSYs, bro. What he was saying is that they don't want to have to take the full responsibility of bills. They want their wife to work, and then I'm still a little under the weather, and then be a wife as well. I'm telling you, that's the way it is now. It's just the way it is. Things have changed. The 80s were better. Now you have a whole bunch of weirdo, psycho freak stuff going on. In today's world. And why? Because a large group of those who are quote unquote two-finger grown going along with it. Because they have never established any standards for themselves. And that's why you have all these STDs. And let me tell you something, man. If you have a STD, nobody should be trying to have sex with you. They're dumb. Why would I do that to myself? Why would I stick my valuable instrument into somebody and create pain when it's supposed to be for pleasure? Man, get the hell out of here, man. And then some of these people walk around like they really something. If you got an STD, put your head down till you get rid of that crap. You ain't nothing. You say, well, it wasn't my fault. Okay. In some cases, it probably wasn't. But weren't you taught to investigate before you touch? Oh, I forgot. You're just one of the people who think you're smarter than you really are. You're not that smart. Let me ask you a couple questions. Did you eat that Popeye's chicken sandwich? Did you? Okay. I don't need to ask any more questions. But I'm going to wrap this Road Rage 17 up. Millennials have some qualities, but millennials need to be learning from the higher generation, the generation that came before them. You don't know nothing. You don't know the first thing about women, man. You don't. You haven't really seen their hand. All you've seen is their vaginas. Some of you. And then you got the Instagram thoughts. Man, come on, man. See, millennials don't know that everything that look good ain't good. You should hear some of the conversations that I have with young guys. These, man, learn. Let yourself learn. Oh, I forgot. You went to college. You're the pick of the litter. Because you went to college. You played sports. I played sports. I went to college. But those things are such a small part of who I am as a person that I'm starting to think they're not even worth mentioning. But on that note, I'm going to close this Road Rage 17. Millennials have good qualities, but they're very narcissistic and they ruin things sometimes. People can't even go out with their families without some of these chumps trying to shoot guns. Can't you fight? But anyway, thanks for listening.